Greetings and Happy New Year to everybody on what is the first video of 2011 and the evening of the first U.S. session of the year. And it's good to be back. It's been a while since we've done a video. I have been babbling more or less via the keyboard over recent weeks and during the holidays. So let's kind of get back to the video a little bit if we can. That makes things a little bit easier at this end. I certainly encourage people to skim through recent posts if you haven't. The weekend post, which I'm going to touch on in a little bit, is of particular interest, whether or not you're a sports fan or whatever. There's some points that I really want to emphasize once again, and I'll do that in a little bit. But lots going on, so let's catch up. A great opportunity, obviously, to clean the slate, fresh mental slate. I will try every trick in the book to try to look at this business from a fresh perspective. Certainly try to do that every day. Certainly try to do that before getting into any trade. Once a trade sequence is completed, it has no bearing on the future one. So you're in this constant replenishment, refreshing mode. And certainly year end is a great time to do that. I've done a lot at this end, and I've hinted at some of what I've been doing in recent posts to get my own slate cleaned again, if you will, and doing lots of things, rearranging the office, a new order entry platform, got some toys that I'll talk about in a little bit, and just again a great opportunity to remind ourselves that 2011 is a brand new slate, has nothing to do at all with yesterday, last month, last quarter, last year, last decade, and it's just so very, very important to stress that. So again, a great time for all of us to kind of clear the decks. I'm looking over here at a list of things I wanted to talk about. The webinar that I did for Linda Ratchke and her team on Wednesday. First of all, quick thank you again to Linda. It was great. We had more than 300 traders in there, and probably just as many have watched it on the recordings. The recordings are now up live on her site. There's a link, so you've got the slides, which I'll link to in this post as well as now the running audio and video. Someone was kind enough to record it off of their PC, so you will have an opportunity to view that. And in that webinar, spent a lot of time talking about my own plan for 2011, but also a great deal of time on this concept of managing personal momentum, which again is just so very, very important. We're getting to a point where this blog, where, we launched this in the middle of 2008, in the midst of one of the hottest streaks, that I've certainly had as a trader. And then we went into 2009, 2010, and now we're into 2011. So what we're starting to get here is a pretty decent sample size of the journey of a trader. And I mentioned over the weekend that one of my concerns when I launched this idea of kind of a running diary, was that people in this lifetime, and certainly traders in general, and in the United States in particular, are so short-sighted. They're focused on very narrow, small periods of time, and they will take a comment or a post and just extrapolate that in terms of making making mountains out of molehills. And we live in an instant gratification, very impatient time, era in this world. And so anyway, one of the dangers when I launched the blog is that people would take, the July 2008 posts or the, late 2008 posts or 2008, 2009 and kind of, believe that is the life of a trader. And while that is to a large extent the life of a trader during that snapshot, it still is such a small sample size until you get years of data. And again, that's the reason that to try to put some of this in perspective, and I debated about doing this or not, I started sharing, 5-year return figures. But anyway, we're getting to a point now where this story, if you're getting it, and I know many of you have been with me with this blog from day one, you should really start to see it. The periods of tremendous energy, tremendous focus, tremendous performance. The periods where not so much. The periods where you're just grinding day after day. The periods when trades just roll off your fingers. This is what the business is about, and it's about managing yourself. So back to the webinar, spent a lot of time on this concept of managing personal momentum. And the slide that I put in on Saturday's post that had the graph in terms of market opportunity, and you're able to align with that opportunity, and what it looked like when you didn't align with that opportunity, is just so critically important. And hopefully you've seen at this end the whole gamut. One of my pet peeves in this industry continues to be that good traders or educators, those that are exposed to those people still think that it's all, a bed of roses. It's all fun and games. It's all, always winning, right? And it's not the case. It never has been. It never will be the case. But the idea is to hit it hard when it is there and to back off when it's not. And I spent a lot of time in the webinar talking and emphasizing the fact that the reason that I've been able to generate such high long-term results, 5 years plus, versus very small draws. Last 3 years, the largest peak to trough drawdown was 5%, peak to trough over an extended period of time. Okay, that's not just a day or so. This is how Barclay Hedge calculates it. The only reason I've been able to do that is because of this concept of managing personal momentum. You've seen it in this blog if you've been with me over the last couple of years. You've seen times when the results have just been off the charts. You see other times when I'm burned out or just not in sync or not focused or something conflicting with market activities, and you have to back off at that point in time. And we've talked about the examples of the Livermores and the Karises, some of the world's best speculators ever in their field, gaining tens of millions, literally, who lost it all because they didn't understand the other side to the personal momentum piece. And the longer I'm in this business and the more I work with traders, the more that it's these sorts of things, these aspects of trading that never get talked about that are most important. Instead, everything's about patterns and okay, when you get in, when you get out. And again, as I've said for years now, and using the poker analogy, in 6 hours, okay, you can learn, or in fact, in 1 hour, in 5 minutes, you can learn that a full house beats a straight beats two pair beats one pair, okay, and that's what patterns are, okay. You can learn that very, very, very quickly, all right. We'll be conservative here and say that may take, let's say a month, okay, but the rest of it takes years. And in terms of things like personal momentum management, and that's why when I teach, I will only teach via extended periods of time. It takes time and energy, but I can't do it any other way. All right. So anyway, I spent a lot of time on that during the webinar. Again, thanks to the LBR team. It's about a 2-hour recording, so get a cup of coffee and whatever when you watch it. Looking at my list here again. Continuing to work on the photon conversion, which effective first of the year, everything's getting rolled over at this end in terms of order entry. I'll keep you posted on how that's going. What else? I know the minute I stop this, I'm going to have other thoughts that come to mind. Things that I'm doing at this end to clean the slate. Everything from cleaning my office to getting my taxes done very early. My taxes are for 2010 are pretty much done and for every year pretty much done by December 31st. I'm estimating all along, and there's no surprises, and they get filed. Basically, the filing is just after the fact. So I'm an accountant by trade, so it's a little easier to do that for me. But always being aware, so I don't have that cloud hanging over me at all this quarter. That pretty much is always done in real time, if you will. I mentioned Photon. I've done some things. I don't buy myself many toys. And, of all the trade results over the last 5 to 10 years that I've basically been accumulating, I haven't really spent much of it. In fact, I really haven't spent any of it. And in terms of toys, and I say toys, but I did finally break down, if you will, and buy myself a 65-inch Panasonic plasma for my office, which is going to replace my current rear projection TV. And I only mention that because every now and then you got to go do something nice for yourself. All right, and I did that. It's going to be installed sometime in the next couple of weeks as soon as it gets here. And I'm having a ball with it. It's a 3D TV. I was in the store spending a couple of hours with a guy here in the Cape that actually does them. does the installs. And I'll tell you, the technology is incredible. Even the 3D technology and some of the stuff that's out there, it's not a gimmick anymore. It's really just simply incredible. So I'm having some fun with that. I'll show you a picture when I get it here. But you know, I really haven't bought myself something like that in 5-6 years. And so again, just a little bit of a reward for the work that's been put in over the last several years. You know, probably be another 5 to 10 years before I do another one. But that's kind of a cute little thing that I'm doing. What else? I'm going to post a link for the scorecard. This is a scorecard that I mentioned in last week's webinar. It's a scorecard that I used during the first quarter of 2009. And if you go back to those posts, and if you recall, if you're reading during that time, I was actually posting on a daily basis. It's a color-coded scorecard to gauge your performance, and I'll surface it here from time to time as well as in terms of my own results. But I will make that file available via a link. It's an Excel 2003 version because I refuse to upgrade to the lousier, more recent editions. But you should be able to import that pretty well. If you can't, let me know. And anyway, I'm resurrecting that a little bit at this end, tightening the trading up, getting things simplified a little bit, got a little bit too complex, a little bit trading too many markets toward the end of last year. Excuse me. Doing a little bit of too many things at once, and so really trying to button up the focus, so automating some things on Photon, all that kind of thing. Quick note, obviously, hopefully you see on the right-hand column now the 2011 jelly session, and I'm not going to do more than 2, and I may only do 1. I don't know if there's a need to do this later in the year. I will do another one, but right now I'm only taking these one at a time if there's sufficient interest. February 14th and March 11th. It's a 4-week effort, live over the internet every market day, 8 hours plus evening sessions once a week. So again, I can't teach any other way. Right? You need time. You need exposure. I can't do this over a weekend. I've been asked to. I can't. It doesn't do it justice. If you're interested, great. Email me. If you're not, don't worry about it. And if nobody's interested, I'm going to be trading. Okay, I always put this opportunity out there. I let the man tell me whether it's worth doing or not, and we go from there. If we get enough people, I can get enough economies of scale where I can still trade, but back off it a little bit and focus on the participants. So anyway, just a quick note about that. So those are some things that are going on at this end. Again, I'm sure I'll come up with some more. But anyway, quick Happy New Year again to everybody. This is a great, wonderful business. I've received a lot of mail over the past several weeks, and I think I've actually responded to every one now. If I haven't, just bug me again because I had some downtime over the holidays. Many stories, many heartfelt stories of struggling in this business, and we've all been there. It's a story that everybody, or it's a phase that everybody has to go through, and not everybody pulls out of it. That's just a fact in this competitive business where it's zero sum. For every winner, there's a loser, and it's a vast transfer of wealth from the vast majority who lose and come and go to the very small minority who consistently win. That's what this business will always be about. Because of that, not everybody makes it through those times. Those of you that are struggling, as I said in my year-end post, just hang in there. You're still breathing. You're smarter than you were last year. Forget about the financials. Ask yourself whether you really want to do this, and that decision has to be very highly individual. All we can do is help increase the probability of success and do our darnest to do that. So anyway, again, quick notes. Happy New Year to everybody. Looking forward to a great January, and look for more soon. Thanks, and have a great night.